Hello, everyone. Um, do you know that the most important skill in the world of AI is not going to be creativity, it's not going to be coding, it's not going to be data science. You know what is going to be the most important skill? It's asking right questions. It's curiosity. Imagine when you were a 4-year-old kid, you would probably ask hundreds of questions to your parents, your school teachers, everyone. And you were very curious, and that's where the learning started in your journey and in your journey. So today I'm going to be talking about how you can combine your curiosity and multiply with AI to actually get breakthrough possibilities in the world of AI. So let's get started. Do you know that the average questions a 2 to 5 year old would generally ask is anywhere from 73 to 75 questions. But as soon as you reach to the age of almost 5 years old, they can reach up to 300 questions a day. Um, when, when the kids are at schools or during the college time as well, they would end up asking anywhere from 1 to 2 questions every single minute. And by the age of 11, schools are unfortunately teaching us to find answers and not ask questions. And that's the kind of a system we are getting into because we're always asked and taught to get the answers and not ask questions. And just ask yourself as an adult, how many questions do you ask every single day? When you're starting a conversation with anyone, are you really focusing on asking right questions to people? If you are, then you're probably on the right path. But if you aren't, then as per stats, an average adult would only ask 6 to 30 questions in a day. Now, we will talk about a very interesting formula that's very important in the world of AI, and that's something that we're going to be focusing on, which is we're going to stop doing additions, which is what we generally do. And I'm going to give you some great examples of the same in just the next few minutes. Right? You need to start multiplying your effects in order to really dive into the world of AI and extract and really have great breakthrough possibilities for yourself. When you combine human capabilities with, and when you add that human capabilities with AI, you will probably see a result of anywhere from 1.2x to 1.3x. That's pretty much it. But when you start multiplying the human curiosity instead of capability with AI, you can see 10x more possibilities, and that's where the breakthroughs of AI is happening so very quickly. And when we start seeing so many new innovations happening because curiosity is what led to the humankind. And that's when so many breakthroughs continuously keep on happening because there was this one person who probably asked themselves, how can we invent AI? And that curiosity is what I'm going to be talking about today. So, as per George Lewinston, he said something incredible that curiosity is a cognitive induced deprivation that arises from perception of gap in knowledge and understanding. Now, what does this really mean? If I share a piece of information to you and your brain is not able to understand it fully, there is a gap. And whenever there is a gap, you start asking questions. That's what curiosity is all about. Today, people are processing all knowledge as information and they just take it by word. They're not using their intelligence to start understanding that there is a gap. I need to understand that gap. And that curiosity is what leads to majority of the breakthroughs today. This is where there is a priming dose effect that comes in, where every small piece of information that is shared with you, try to process that with your brain and try to understand and find the gap in between them. And that is where curiosity is going to start happening. And when you combine that with AI, possibilities are endless in terms of where and how you can go. Now, I'm going to share 3 great examples with you. And if you probably are sitting over here, probably take out your phones and use any of your favorite apps as well, whatever you want, and try to start writing these things so that you can start understanding the difference of the responses that you will probably get with whatever applications that you're using. The first one is the context-rich questions. Now, when I go on any AI application which is built on a technology known as BERT, which is a transformers technology, we would generally ask something like, hey, write me an email, or just summarize this documentation for me, right? Now, if you make that query very rich, you will start getting a much more in-depth responses. So for example, instead of write me a sales email, write me a sales email for a technical founder who is very tech savvy, but at the same time, he's very privacy concerned and price sensitive user in the Indian market, specifically in the Mumbai region, that too in South Bombay. Now, what happens is that there is a lot of information that AI holds that humanly it's no longer possible because AI's intelligence have already gone past PhD level. So when you ask such questions, what's going to happen next is that it's going to dive deep in, and then it will go very specific to understanding the buyer's persona, and it's going to give you a very detailed answer. The next kind of prompt that I'm going to be talking about is the connective questions, right? Now, how does this work? Now, this is probably where the majority of the innovation is happening, right? Now, for example, ask any of your favorite AI application, how do you combine field A with field B? For example, how can I use neuroscience in real estate? Did anyone ever think about it? Even AI cannot think about such kind of questions. But when you combine field A with field B, you see endless opportunities and possibilities. So for example, how can I use neuroscience with my marketing strategies? How can I use marketing and real estate and combine it with biology? What are the learnings that I can derive from biology and I can apply it for my business? Every field has got major breakthroughs, but when you start combining these connective questions, you start unlocking the true potential of what AI can actually do. And this is where the curiosity comes in, because AI cannot do the thinking and curiosity work for you, but humans can, and that's going to be the most important skill moving forward. Now, moving forward, and then we have the iterative questions. Generally, the iterative questions work in a way where you continuously keep on asking questions. So now, when we go back to asking AI that, hey, please give me the possibilities of a certain question, right? So for example, again, write me a sales email for a tech person who is living in South Mumbai and who's probably tech savvy and price sensitive. Now, the moment that analysis comes in, you ask another question. What assumptions did you make when you did this analysis? Now, when you start doing these interactive questions, you again start unlocking more possibilities, right? But what most people would do, they would ask, they would copy, and they would paste. That's where you lose out on so much AI opportunities for yourself. Now, here is a great, again, I'm going to give you a live demonstration. Again, as I mentioned, if you are following up, if you have your mobile app open, and if you are writing these things, I think you'll probably get a great practical example at the same time, right? So again, here is a simple prompt that majority of the people would use right now, or they are using. Write me a marketing strategy. Now, when you ask such questions, AI is going to still give you an answer. But what exactly are you looking for, right? You again need to be very specific. So for example, you are a marketing specialist in B2B SaaS with over 20 years of in-depth experience, where you have driven millions of dollars in sales, finding out how enterprise really drives those sales and builds their pipeline, right? And at the same time, my only advantage that I have is I have a better tech. That's all. Now, when you give this piece of information to AI, that is when it will start unlocking different possibilities, because that's where the BERT technology comes in, because it's going to start transforming different pieces of information, and it's going to start combining those different pieces of information to give you one concise answer. And that is where the breakthrough starts happening, because these kind of possibilities humanly is no longer possible. Now, here is an amazing real story, right? I've been working in the field of AI for the last 7 years. The moment Google released the technology BERT, I've been actively working in the field of AI, have been learning about it. And the possibilities that I'm seeing are pretty endless, right? And one of these days, I asked this very, very, very interesting question to AI, which is, am I replacing humans, or is AI replacing humans, right? Or is AI really helping them? If you ask, it's a very interesting question, right? To which I got a very standard answer, right? Which is, it's probably going to help because, again, AI wants to sell you, right? So it's going to help you with efficiency gains. It's going to help you with higher work or value work. And at the same time, it's going to just give you usual justifications, right? But I pushed it further, right? This is where the interactive questions come into picture, right? The framework comes into picture, which I just shared, where then I asked, what am I avoiding asking, right? Search, research, different automations in displacement. And I start getting a very vivid answers. I start getting more specifics to that, and which is what has started leading to how I design every single of my augmentation, every single of my strategies, every single of my designs and patterns, to a point where today each of my team member has the capability to perform and do a task of almost 50 people. This is where AI is heading towards, because if you are able to generate that curiosity and train your mind asking and combining the right thought process, and when you do that, you have the capability of producing what 100 or 200 or 300 humans cannot do. That is the power you have in your hand today. So, a few weeks ago, I have a very amazing niece, right? I spend a lot of time every time she visits my home, and she's very active in the world of AI, right? I see her using some of the AI application a lot more than probably I do, because kids are generally the most curious people in the world, because they ask a lot of questions. We find it annoying, but that's where the learning starts, right? And we generally term such people as stupid, that, hey, why are you asking so many questions? But trust me, the learning never ends. The learning always starts. And the people who are the best minds in the world are the people who ask a lot of questions. And that was one of the most essential skills that we had as a child that we completely lost as an adult. So my 6-year old niece, so she scrolls through a lot of Instagram reels and she watches every single of my stories. Now, every single time she watches that, she sees me posting a lot of things about AI. And when she visited my home with my sister, she asked me, can AI teach me the kind of questions you ask? And I was like, I don't know how to even answer that question, right? Because most of the time, we probably would ask, can you give me what kind of questions, what kind of answers you would get, right? Or how do you think? But can you teach me how can AI ask the right questions? How can you give that right questions to AI? And that, again, sparked a lot of curiosity in me, right? That the way world is being designed right now and where we are heading towards, artificial intelligence is probably the best human technological breakthrough ever so far. Now, here is a 10-second challenge that I want every one of you to please do. Everyone, please take out your phone. Please, it's a request, so that you can actually see what you guys are. Everything that I've shared today, I hope that learning is actually applied right now, so that leaves a lot of curious things in your mind. So can you all please open up any of your favorite AI apps? Can be anything, whatever you use. Now, think of that one of the frameworks that I've just shared, right? Now, ask that curious question that you have, probably the field, right? Try to combine field A with field B and just write a prompt and just enter that in your favorite application and just see the responses that you're getting, right? I'm going to wait for 10 seconds to 15 seconds before I go ahead. And I hope you guys are getting quite some curious responses, which you probably might have not even thought about. And this becomes also a great demonstration of how you can also use AI in the future or in present. So I'm going to wait for another 5 seconds. All right, so it looks like everyone has started seeing some very vivid, different answers that they were probably not expecting, because I do see some curious faces over here. I do see some wicked smiles at the same time from some of the people, because those are the questions that they probably did not think about, which they are now thinking about at the same time. And now they're also asking those questions, and they're seeing very different answers that they did not think about. Because again, generally we would go to any of these AI apps and just write 4-word, 5-word prompts. That's not how you use AI. But again, when you combine those 3 prompt strategies that I've just mentioned, you will unlock different opportunities. Just ask again a follow-up question. Why did you think and gave me this answer? Ask a simple why, and it will give you a very detailed explanation of the same. Now that's when your true potential of your learning starts unlocking. So I hope you came up with some good answers, right? Now again, the last human skill isn't what you think it would be. Again, it's not going to be any designing. It's not going to be any coding. It's not going to be any other breakthroughs, right? It's going to be your curiosity. It's not going to be your critical thinking pattern either. It's just going to be your curiosity and your ability to go beyond thought processes, combining different questions, right? Now, stop being a child and stop being an adult and start being a child again, so that you can start asking those 73 questions every single day to yourself. Now you have AI, so you can ask those questions to AI to again start unlocking the true potential of your learning. So now, when you go out from here, do ask yourself one very important question is, what are you going to ask tomorrow? Right? The kind of questions you will go back, the kind of questions you will be able to combine in your own field, do start asking those tomorrow, because human curiosity, when multiplied, and not addition, when multiplied with AI capabilities, it's going to give you exponential possibilities. With that, I hope everyone found this session very helpful. Thank you, everyone.